In 2021, analytics firm Gallup found that workers in the Philippines are among the most stressed out in Southeast Asia. But how do we effectively manage our stress to survive our day-to-day? To give us stress management tips, joining us live is Doctor Doni Wilson. Good morning, Doc Doni.
Good morning.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
And I think just the person I'd like to talk to this morning.
Here I am.
Listen, Doc, before we get into talking about how to manage stress, how to beat stress, maybe let's talk about first what are the common causes and the common signs and manifestations of stress. How do you know you're suffering from stress issues?
Well, that's the thing. So we all have stress. As humans, we're going to have stress.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we're kind of brought up to think that we're supposed to not feel stressed, that there's something wrong with us if we're stressed.
Yeah.
And so I like to really bring awareness that there's nothing wrong. It's your human body showing you that you're stressed. And it might be high blood pressure, it might be heart racing or feeling anxious. It might be not being able to sleep well or maybe feeling more tired during the day. Sometimes it's even skin rashes, digestive issues, and weight gain can be signs of stress.
Right, but how do we monitor that? How do we know? Is there a term? Can we correctly say you have the right amount of stress, or is all stress bad? I mean, should we have a certain amount of it and learn to live with it and manage it?
Absolutely. I like to always emphasize that the goal is not to have zero stress. That wouldn't be good either.
Yeah.
We want to have this optimal amount of stress and try to choose our stress wisely, to choose jobs or careers that we enjoy and to do things in our lives that we're passionate about. But at the same time, we want to counterbalance it with anti-stress, with stress recovery.
Right. Is it the amount of stress, or is it the amount of stress that you are able to deal with? I mean, obviously, different people deal with stress in different ways. Some people, I don't know, so there are some people who seem to, I don't want to use the word thrive, but seem to be able to process stress better than others. Some people are less prone to the negative effects of stress. Would that be right?
Yes, and it has to do with both of our genetics and also our past stress exposure. It determines how each of us individually is going to respond to stress. And so I researched this over the past 20 years, and I actually measure hundreds of people's stress hormone levels to figure out exactly what you're describing. Why is it that we respond differently to stress? And how then can we know what to do to support ourselves as an individual?
Right.
I call that the stress type. So it's important to know your stress type and address it, and that's how you can navigate stress successfully.
Okay, good. I mean, one size doesn't obviously fit all. Different strokes for different folks. We've got work stress, we've got stress at home, we've got stress from our relationships, our lifestyles. The Philippines, though, is among the most stressed out nations in Southeast Asia, apparently. Why do you think that's the case, and what are the numbers showing us?
Well, I think it's also like we're finally realizing that the Filipinos have been stressed maybe all along and weren't expressing it. Weren't realizing, oh, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling the stress. And so now, the more we start to become aware, we're like, wow, there's actually a lot of stress happening, and people might not feel comfortable talking about it. So I think a big part of it is being able to say, hey, it's common to feel stressed. Let's get together about that and help solve it. Right.
Let's bring it out in the open, talk about it, and see what we can do about that. Now, we know we can't totally eliminate stress in our lives, and in fact, like you said, a certain amount of it and being able to handle it, conquer it, perhaps adds to your ability to rise above that issue. What are some of the most effective ways? And I'm talking about I'd love to go on a vacation and de-stress, but we can't go on a vacation every day.
Exactly.
What are some of the most effective ways in terms of overall effect and cost efficiency, I suppose, to manage our stress, and how do we keep our stress levels in check?
Well, that's the thing is I like to find ways to add in stress recovery throughout our day. If you think about an athlete, they don't just go like run a marathon and then recover later. They're actually supporting themselves the whole time they're in their activity. Right? So we need to do the same things in our daily activities. How can we feed ourselves well to help us through stress? How can we make sure we're getting enough sleep to recover from stress? How can we integrate in what I call recovery activities during the day, things like breath work, getting out in nature, that help us recover from stress, as well as exercise.
Right.
So it's like on a day-to-day basis, our stress recovery is happening right alongside our stress exposure.
So it sounds like this is habit. This is a habit that you need to sort of work into your daily routine. It's not sort of saying, I don't know, measuring your stress and saying, "Oh, I'm above a certain level. I need to get out there and tree bathe. I need to get out there and look at the sky and the ocean." I think you're talking about working a regular sort of routine of stress management as a daily part of your everyday life.
Yes, and then what I recommend is to individualize it based on your stress type, which is what I talk about in my book.
Okay.
And I'm going to share this week at the Healthy Options web seminar.
Right. Well, that's the most important part, is figuring out what type you are, how do we do that, and what do we do from there. And it's all going to be talked about in your book. Let's talk about that. Master Your Stress, Reset Your Health. Perfect title, very fitting. Where can we grab a copy, and how can we learn more about it?
You can get it at Healthy Options, the Healthy Options stores, and it's also available as an Audible book at Amazon.
Okay. Well, you also have Master Your Stress, the talk, and it's going to be in Manila on the 25th and in Cebu on the 27th. Give us an overview of what's going to be tackled there and how can people sort of take part in that.
I really want to help people become aware, like we talked about, how is stress signaling showing up in your body?
Yeah.
What is your stress type? And how do you start implementing these daily activities and supplements? Because there's herbs and nutrients that can help us recover from stress based on our stress type.
Oh, I gotta get a copy of this book, Doc.
I'm happy to get you one.
This certainly sounds like this is something I need, something that all of us need to be a little more aware of. Thank you so much for sharing what you have. Best of luck on the talks, and go grab a copy of Doc's book. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Doc Doni.